Hi, welcome to blog number 6. Anyway, today I've got 3 subjects that I want to talk about. 3 subjects. First one is I'm going to diss the heck out of the Labour Party mailer that I got. Evidence from Ruth Dyson for Banks Peninsula. Anyway, very interesting little piece, so I'll talk about that. Also want to talk about a communications strategy and just why it's so critical that you have a communication strategy and that you start to think about getting a communication strategy underway. And the third and last thing I want to talk about is national and why apologising is a good thing. Anyway, let's start with this. This is the worst thing. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is actually sent out as a marketing, and it's even headed up Survey 2008, and asks you the necessary things like, your name and your phone number and email, your cellular. Did you ever notice that the Hitler also, the reason that he got the information, or the reason that they knew where the Jews were, was because of the census information? Just a little side there. Anyway, back to it. What we've got here is that they then start asking about and looking and asking survey questions. And here is one of those. Do you think it is a good idea for the government to own assets like the rail network, Air New Zealand and Kiwibank? Well, that's okay. Yes or no, not a bad question. Yeah, well, it's the leading question. Here's a real leading question, and this is really, I find this, really unethical, and that is actually trying to make out that they're a survey, and what it actually is it's really just trying to get across their message, and it's highly unethical. And if I was to do this for my business, I'd probably end up being on fair go. Anyway, this is what they say. Okay, this is the question they ask. If further personal tax cuts meant less government money was available for social spending, benefits, health and education, would you support or oppose tax cuts? Well, what else are you meant to write there? What else? Yeah, I oppose tax. I mean, I'm in support of tax cuts. What a load of rubbish. This is not credible survey. This is just political manipulation, and it is disgusting. They've got, here's another one. With many countries and scientists agreeing that something needs to be done about climate change, do you think New Zealand should be a global leader on this issue, or move at pace with other countries, or do little as possible? Well, again, another leading question. Now look, who would ever want to disagree with that? Nobody. And so anyway, what I have to say for this is it is unethical, and I think it's just immoral, instead of trying to make out that it's a credible survey. Labour Party, you're going on about truth? I don't think so. That's what I think about that bunch of crap. Right, second thing I want to talk about, communications plan. If you haven't got one, you better get one. If you run a business and you're not communicating with your clients in any sort of way, whether that be a personal phone calls, personal visits, and or some form of communications to them, you are going to lose in this current market. Because if there's anything, the economy is shrinking. If it's shrinking, there's less customers out there for the same amount of businesses, which means is that people are going to be extra motivated. The sharp businesses are going to be communicating and vying for business. And if you're not doing something, if you're not rocking up to the door, communicating with them, reminding your customers you're still there, then somebody else will. And the third thing I want to talk about is national. Sorry, John, I probably am more right-wing, and the challenge with that you have here is that you should apologise and just get on with it. It's not a good look. Last night I was watching my favourite program, The Apprentice. Anyway, that guy, he's very famous. He was out of that band Kiss. What's his name? Anyway, he got on it, and Donald Trump gave him a bit of a hard time about giving his daughter. He was being a little bit rude to Donald Trump's daughter in one of the projects. Immediately, he took off his glasses, looked straight at Ivanka and said, I apologise deeply for what I did. I'll tell you what was really interesting in seeing that, apologising immediately for his actions. Nobody came back and said, oh, well, you're a naughty. There was nothing else. He did it so sincerely and authentically that there was no answer to it. If there was anything, you've offended somebody and you know you've done wrong, don't hesitate but to apologize. That's my blog for this week. Go out, have a great week. Go and communicate with some of your customers if you're in business. And if you're not in business, go and communicate with some of your friends. Hey, we'll catch you all. Have a great week.